Hello, everyone. This is a new podcast by MOER, which stands for Making Our Economy Right. MOER is a tiny organization founded in 1991 in Bangladesh after the fall of the Soviet Communist Empire. Communism, however, still exists in various forms, and this is why MOER continues to promote the liberalization of the economy, also known as the free market enterprise. Economies, unlike politics, do not thrive under bureaucratic restrictions or political boundaries. The economy is one. It is interconnected and we are all interdependent. Economies cannot survive in isolation unless in a totalitarian aura. To meet our unending demands and for our growth and prosperity, we need maximum economic freedom for the people of Bangladesh and the world. Thank you and hope you will find or at least listen to our podcast at your convenience. Hoping you like this one too. Bye now. Now, I welcome you to our humble podcast, Kaiser. I know I'll call you Kaiser. We all know you as Kaiser, but it is Abul Hasan Chowdhury. I mean, you were one of the stars when you became an MP, and did so well for yourself. You're also the foreign minister for state, and then suddenly you disappeared. But then we'll hear about that later. And তুমি তো অক্সফোর্ডে পড়াশোনা করছো, and Benazir Bhutto was your same years, and you knew her very well. So you can tell her about her a little bit. And you're also a part of our MOER because you came several times. You came way back in 1991 at Abdul Quddus Makhun's his house. And we were a number of people then. I think Air Marshal Khandakar, the first Air Marshal, I don't remember his last name. He also came. So anyway, and then we also did one at Financial Express with Behruz Ispahani. You were there, you chaired the meet. So, we are always very fond of you. And another thing I want to ask you about is your father. He was a very illustrious man, and he was the president of this country. He was very close to Bangabandhu. And I think in 70, he became the VC of Dhaka University as a sitting judge also. 70, হবে?
69.
69, because Dr. Ghani, he left. And so then he became VC, and then he got stuck in London during the crackdown.
He went to Geneva to attend a human rights conference. And on the way back in London, he stopped for a few days.
Right.
This is when the liberation war
started.
And
he had a very active role then. I mean,
he was
we were really
appointed as the representative of Mujibnagar government for overseas.
Mujibnagar government came on the 10th today.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And then he was appointed. I mean, that was a fantastic, আমাদের যে political, the face. And he really made it so, sitting in London and coordinating all this work. And then when did he return?
He returned some weeks after independence of Bangladesh, because the Mujibnagar government leaders like Mr. Sayyid Nazrul Islam and Mr. Tajuddin Ahmed, who had such a gallant role in our history, asked him to come back and start working to get Bangabandhu back with us.
Okay.
So within a few days of his leaving London and reaching Dhaka, in fact, Bangabandhu was released. But first, let me start by thanking you for inviting me. I'm greatly honored. And
my pleasure.
As I was mentioning just a few minutes ago to Bhabhi, that we have known each other for more than 5 decades.
Right.
I'm being conservative
Exactly.
about that. So I'm very happy to be talking to you. It is for me. I much appreciate, and I'm really honored.
Thank you.
As you probably will know, Notre Dame College did not allow politics in those days. But we were perhaps the first batch that we started politics, both Chhatra League and Chhatra Union.
Really?
Absolutely.
Which year
And we
was
were in Notre Dame, post 1968.
Acha, acha.
1968, we did our matriculation from
Yeah,
St.
I
I
see.
did my matriculation from St. Gregory's.
Okay.
And to make it easier for us to do politics, from Chhatru League, once at that time, the great student leader, very respected Mr. Tofel Ahmad came to
Right.
Notre Dame College.
Oh,
Sheikh Shohid Bhai came to Notre Dame
Acha.
College. Late Shahjan Shiraj Bhai came to Notre Dame
Right.
College. And EPSU also invited Mahbubullah Bhai to come. All of them came. So by then it became impossible for the authorities to resist politics.
okay.
So I became a dedicated, absolutely a grassroots worker of Chhatru League.
Wow.
We were, of course, one of the young leaders of Chhatru League also. But
No, I wasn't the leader.
no, you were
Activist.
the leaders, very activist.
Activist.
So we were just grassroots sympathizers. But those are stormy, romantic days. One used to spend a lot of time in the university.
Yeah.
So around late 68, 69, my
Yes.
father was appointed Vice Chancellor of that university. And this is a position he held until independence. And what had happened was there was a Human Rights Commission meeting in Geneva.
Right.
And for the first time, the Pakistanis chose an East Pakistani at that time, as it was, my father, to lead the delegation.
Okay.
And then he resigned, I think, on the 15th of March, when he heard that 2 students were killed. This is, of course, in the record
Oh, I see.
of the government.
I think yeah, okay.
So,
yeah.
in fact, he had actually no option. Had, God forbid, Pakistan would have prevailed. They tried to prevail.
Yeah.
He would never have been able to come back because his resignation letter is recorded in the 4 or 6 volumes of
Okay.
the Liberation War material. So this was perhaps known to the leadership, who took the lead in the absence of Bangabandhu. And I was also in London at that time.
Yeah.
So he had gone to
You were
see.
studying.
I was studying there. So he came along and mobilized the movement. He went to the United States for several times. He went to many countries of the Europe.
Yeah.
In fact, his Probashe Muktijuddher Dinguli recalls all this very vividly.
Is that book by him?
It's a book by him, and we
Wow.
are trying to get it translated. Mr. Sayyid Abul Hasan, the eminent journalist,
Yeah.
he's translating.
Okay.
So that was a very busy time. But of course, also
উনি তখন লন্ডনে where did he base himself to meet politicians in
various places. North London sometimes, South London sometimes. And then a Bangladeshi very generously gave them an office in Goring Street, which is in near the city, near the bank station. But most of his work was, lobbying, going to parliament,
right?
getting the Bengalis. There were many, many things. It will take such a long time to talk about it. But just to give one example, in about 9 months' time,
Yes.
the funds collected were nearly 400,000. It was 390,000, something
Wow.
like that, which was presented to Bangabandhu on the very day Bangabandhu landed in Bangladesh. So that was the start of our foreign exchange in the
Bangabandhu arrived on the 10th of January. And when did your father come?
just 5-6 days before that.
Before that?
5, even less, probably 3-4 days before that, because he was called back
Yeah.
to restart the campaign. In the meantime, I must mention that once Pakistan had tried to kill Bangabandhu, and this is all recorded. So the leadership in London, the activists in London, and the name of Sultan Sharif Bhai
Yeah.
comes up very prominently. And the reason why I'm hesitating a little, because there are so many names.
I know.
If I start mentioning names, some will be not.
No.
Bhuiya, Sheikh Abdul Mannan, Mr. Pasha. So they played such heroic role.
I know. Yeah.
So immediately they got in touch with Mr. Sean McBride, who is a Nobel laureate, former Prime Minister of Ireland.
Okay.
And Sean McBride led a delegation, I don't know who the other members of the, to literally warn Yahya Khan that if they even contemplated doing anything to Bangabandhu, anything rash, anything unacceptable, then they would try to mobilize against Pakistan. So that was one event that as a Bengali, as a Bangladesh citizen, I can feel, take some satisfaction. And the other thing is that the tremendous support,
Yes.
at that time, as you so well know, the world was divided, polarized between
Left
the
and right.
Soviet bloc and the American bloc. But it has always been my contention that Bangabandhu's philosophy was such
Yes.
that it gained traction from both the sides of the divides.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how is it explainable that most countries in Europe, in fact all, were very supportive of Bangladesh? Long before Britain formally recognized Bangladesh,
Yeah.
long before even India formally recognized, and India had given us magnificent support.
Right.
We so well recall with sense of indebtedness
Yes.
the 10 million refugees hosting of the government there. And next to India, although the gap was very, very big, I would suggest that England was the country which helped, because long before they had even officially recognized us, they allowed the opening of the Bangladesh mission by hoisting of the Bangladesh flag. And Pakistan High Commissioner
During the
was
war.
furious during the war, sometime in August 1971. So history is such a long.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, we don't hear so much of your father's time.
And then when he came back and Bangabandhu wanted to turn the country into a parliamentary democracy, he was made the ceremonial nominal head of the state. Of course, I sometimes now think that their friendship went back to their days in their early 20s or even earlier, early teens. When he was at the Baker Hostel in Kolkata.
Oh, they were together?
They were together. They were for 3 years.
Yeah.
In fact, staying in adjacent rooms.
Oh, wow. I saw Bangabandhu and your dad, Manju Bhai's, Anwar Hasan Manju's wedding. And Tohan to peak time politics. So they came and we were also thrilled. So they were chatting away, this and that. So nice. Very nice.
So as you can see, in schools and gregaries, you could not even think of politics. Notre Dame was also difficult. So I started my life as a student league worker. Continued. And after the assassination of Bangabandhu, at that time I was in London. There were
You were
many.
with the bank?
I was working for Japan International Bank.
Okay.
After I had done my degree. And there were many offers to make me an ambassador, this, that, and the other. I absolutely sternly refused. I could not see myself associating with anybody
It was such a shock.
or any group which had anything to do with the killing of Bangladesh. In fact, I refused to return to Bangladesh, and I came in 1983 for the wedding of my sister.
Okay.
So during this time, I was working for Japan International Bank Limited and working for Bangabandhu Parishad. In London. In London, we used to have meetings. Sultan Sharif Bhai knows about it. Dr. Shafiq Siddiq.
Yes.
We used to meet very often. Dr. Salim, who unfortunately is not with us. Elder brother of Nasim Bhai. Nasim Bhai is also not here with us. Not with us. And several other people, Mr. Ghaus Sultan. In fact, several times when at that time as leader of the opposition, our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina would visit London, there would be occasions to meet. So with passion, with principle, with commitment, I was an absolute Chhatraligar. So it was no surprise that I would trust. And she loved me like a younger brother. Sheikh Hasina absolutely put me in a pedestal. And why I am not here is something, I am human after all. It was something utterly silly on my part. But even then under intense pressure, I did not join any other political party. I did not join BNP. There were some home problems. I do not want to, this is bad manners to talk about all that. But perhaps it was an error of judgment. Having said that, I do not see myself as anything. At least in spirit, I may be not given an opportunity to be active, but in spirit and passion, I remain as committed to the party of Bangabandhu, to the party of our liberation, to the party which is now being so tremendously being led by Prime Minister Hasina, Sheikh Hasina, the daughter of Bangabandhu. I cannot see myself anything else.
No, I mean, you're the kind of
As indeed you are.
But
With your family connection, you are part of the, you are family.
But to me, no, family to achei. But to me, you are a bright politician. I mean, you're charismatic.
It's very kind of you.
তুমি যে পার্লামেন্ট ছিলে your chief whip,
I was
then
whip,
you were
whip.
MP.
Chief whip was Nasim Bhai.
তুমি একসময় whip ছিলা।
Whip ছিলাম, yes.
আচ্ছা, তারপরে foreign minister, you're doing
State Minister,
great
Foreign
job.
Minister.
And then one of the reason I wanted to speak to you is to why this, and why you're out of Army League and why can't you be there? So I know.
That's a direct question and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
As far as I am concerned, I am almost at the evening of my life, at the twilight time. I would be more than honored to do in whatever capacity,
You don't look, you're in the twilight time. You have a long, long time ahead. And I'm sure the opportunity will come
Inshallah.
for you, for me. It'll come. If you're interested in politics, why not? If you can be helpful, it should be there. তাই না? তুমি তো বেনাজির ভুট্টোকে চিন্তা ভালো
What happened was, yes, we were in the same year. আরেকটা interesting ব্যাপার আছে, that I have not talked about it because both the protagonists, both the leaders had asked me not to talk about it. But now I am told very reliably that Dr. Shafiq Siddiq in his book has narrated this incident.
Oh,
So it is now public knowledge.
okay.
What happened was that at one time, both our Honorable Prime Minister, as leader of the opposition, fighting for the restoration of democracy, happened to be in London. And Benazir was also there. Both of them were keen, and both of them were keen to meet at a place where they would not be seen by anybody.
Okay.
So Netri came with Dr. Shafiq Siddiq,
Yeah.
and Benazir came with another lady. So that's it. Then they had a very good meeting. I think that meeting was real an icebreaker in the sense that Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, as leader of the opposition, our elder sister Sheikh Hasina, the leader of the opposition at that time, as she then was, bluntly asked her that how come at the assassination, after the assassination of Bangabandhu,
Yeah.
your father, i.e. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, was so quick to give recognition. After all, Bangabandhu was elected leader, your father was elected leader. They may have had their differences.
Right.
And this is Nizam Bhai. For the first time, I had known her in the university for 3 years, that I found an otherwise extremely an astute, cool politician, Benazir, fumbling. And I have never seen her since, nor have I seen her after. Took out a cigarette from her vanity bag, lighted it, she was so fluxed.
Oh, yeah.
Then she gave a story that, my father was very
Military
shaken.
pressure.
Very shaken, but state-to-state relationship. Then Netri wanted to continue in this line. I think it was Shafiq Bhai, he said, no, let's turn the corner. And I think there took place a sort of a chemistry between the two. Because soon after that, Benazir was addressing a meeting in LSC. And more than half the meeting was about Bangabandhu.
Yeah. Wow.
And this is perhaps one of the reasons why in 1993-94, when Benazir Bhutto, as the leader of the opposition, had a SARC opposition conference in Karachi. And that was for the first time that leader of the opposition, Sheikh Hasina, went to Karachi at her invitation. I had the honor of being in her entourage. Mr. Bahuddin Nasim was there. Late our leader,
Bahuddin
Sajida
Nasim.
Chowdhury.
Who is Bahuddin Nasim?
One of the young leaders, the
Oh,
member
acha,
of
acha.
Bahuddin Nasim, organizing secretary of
Yeah,
Awami League. At that time, he was the young leader. So we went and we were shown utmost courtesy. Although Benazir was at that time in the opposition and facing the brunt from the government,
Yeah.
the governor invited us. So it was quite a revealing thing how much Bangabandhu is honored in Pakistan by that generation.
Absolutely.
by that generation.
Absolutely. Today they are saying that Imran Khan is the Sheikh Mujib of Pakistan now.
Yes. Yes, and they are now saying
Yeah.
that let us forget about other countries in the world, let us become Bangladesh.
Oh, really? At least the economic way. Economic growth.
Growth.
Yeah. That's great. তোমার তো একটা অর্গানাইজেশন আছে, is it?
না, আমার
ওই যে তোমার হোয়াটসঅ্যাপে যে প্রোফাইল পিকচার দেখলাম with the
no,
big fancy desk.
ওটা sitting at my club in London at the library,
Oh, I see.
trying to make me look, which I am not, trying to make me look an intellectual.
You are a lot. You are a politician with an intellect. তাই না?
No, thank you.
And how else do you spend your time? Are you in business or?
I'm not in business directly at all, but my school friend, my college friend, Oxford friend, Abdul Matlub Ahmed of Nitol Group,
Yeah.
he allows me to sit in his office, to put it in that language, and do some advisory work for him.
Consultancy kind of thing. That's great. আমাদের যে আরেক বন্ধু তুমি বললা যে আজিজ,
Yes.
who's had a stroke.
Very, very unfortunate. He had something pending with a certain ministry.
Yeah.
And it's taking such a long time. You know, Aziz was an outstanding hockey player.
I know.
He
was our batchmate.
He was your batchmate. He has got a photo with Bangabandhu. Bangabandhu liked him very much because he was very smart and good hockey player. My father as vice chancellor already. Now this man has fallen into deep trouble. So these are things, smoothing out things and getting things done quickly. I think
And so complex.
One area.
Complex. I think we are an overly regulated economy, aren't we? We are suffering.
But some regulations have now been softened and relaxed.
তুমি আওয়ামী লীগে গেলে then we can have somebody there who can think about reforming and liberalizing.
I would be honored to just go back as a worker. I mean,
I know. Initially as a worker,
whatever.
I know. So are you mostly based in Dhaka? You don't?
I am now mostly based in Dhaka. Yeah.
আমাদের সেদিন কামরুল ভাইকে দেখলাম.
আচ্ছা.
He was on our rooftop party. He was here. Bhabhi also came. Bhabhi's sister is your wife.
Yes, sister, younger sister.
Right. And how many children do you have?
One son, one daughter.
They got grown up now.
Alhamdulillah, yes.
Bah. They all live here or they're abroad?
No, my son is doing his master's at UPenn.
UPenn.
University of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
But before that, he had done one master's from University of Chicago.
Wow.
And then he did his second master's from Columbia.
What's his subject?
In Chicago, it was international relations. In Columbia, it was South Asian studies. And now he's doing public administration.
Wow.
And he had done his honors in economics from University College London.
University College, UCL.
UCL.
That's a big college, UCL.
And my daughter is doing her IB from a school in Edinburgh, Fetis.
International Baccalaureate.
Yeah. So both of them are out at the moment. Fantastic. You see, I mean, my friends have grandkids.
Yeah.
I married late.
You married late?
Remember him.
Even I married late. But that's not a problem. Then I'm happy I married late. আচ্ছা, এখন যে আমাদের পলিটিক্সে যে ডক্টর ইউনুস যে আজকে দেখছো তো ইউএন কি বানালো তাকে, ইজ এ মেম্বার অফ জিরো ওয়েস্ট কমিটি and all that. You think they're trying to warm him up for a possible political role in the country, in Bangladesh?
Zambai, my own take on this matter is that, look, in 71, I was in London. I was almost 20-year-old. The snide remarks, the criticisms, people saying, Bangladesh, firstly, it will never become independent, and will it survive? And today we are a role model, we are a brand for many countries, we are such a development nation. And this has percolated down to the people, at the grassroots level. So I don't think any personality, quite honestly, would be able to match the present incumbent. It's just unthinkable.
But I think, Kaisar, the turning point for this government has been the World Bank's fund denial. World Bank said we won't give you 3 billion.
I understand. They
That was a turning point. I mean, normally তো আমরা জানি যে World Bank যদি তোমাকে support করে, your government exists. If they say they don't support you, the government does not exist. You are under threat. But can you imagine তোমার তো নেত্রী, আমার not a family member, the kind of courage she showed. World Bank, what the hell? I will get money and make that bridge. আর তোমার নামে তো যে কি সব বানাইছিল, it's all nonsense,
twisted lies.
Yeah, so it's all nonsense. There was a overreaction, and the World Bank really thought, hey, we can really play with this woman, but she came back.
World Bank got a slap on their face, like I think never before. And the only person who could have done it is
her. And the only person who could do it, even with little bit of India's, hey, don't do it. She's the one.
She's the one.
Nobody else could have done it.
And it's not something that she had theoretically pronounced. With the Padma Bridge now in place, it is for the world to see that Sheikh Hasina is the victor and the World Bank has been defeated.
Absolutely. And I'm very happy
unprecedented.
that she has also defied this World Bank, IMF, like even the IMF loan.
And you're absolutely right. It was the turning point.
Yes.
And I suppose after that, IMF has this in their mind. So Bangladesh, when they asked for this little facility, they came forthcoming.
Yeah, and I think Bangladesh really didn't need it. But IMF to shaitan to. তুমি না নিলেও শয়তানি করবে, নিলেও শয়তানি করবে. It's better to take it. তো যেমন পাকিস্তানকে তো ঘোরাচ্ছে.
And the other thing, Zamba, is that once it is known that IMF, that your credit rating goes down. You know,
yes.
As it is, Bangladesh, every time you switch on and ask for this international, in the CNN, for the last several days, they have been doing a thing on Bangladesh and telling the world what a success story Bangladesh was.
Really?
I mean, all this basket case business. Absolutely.
Bloomberg to dilo.
Yes.
So they're giving, but this is a mixed kind of a thing. They are working very much against it.
None of these Western media, this is their habit. This is the way they learn to do it. They will never say 9 out of 10. They will say 8.25 out of 10, something like that. We'll have to live with that. And after all, democracy is noise and chaos. The very interesting thing is that she has been able to bring about this growth. The Prime Minister enhanced Bangladesh within a democratic order. I mean, that is the most phenomenal thing. Other countries have, I do not, it's not polite.
No, I know. I mean, kintu like, dhoro, there's one, people's যেভাবে মানুষ মনে করে যে আওয়ামী লীগ তো অনেক উন্নতি করেছে, আমাদের ওয়ার্স্ট এনিমি পাকিস্তানও বলছে ভাই বাংলাদেশ তো আগায় গেছে, what have they done that we couldn't do? I mean, of course there are many things. তো কিন্তু why you think the election they're a little bit hesitant? I mean, kind of unnati your party did. মানুষ তেমনি যে ভোট দিবে. You have any? I know you're not actively in the party, but what's your?
আমার নিজের যেটা ধারণা সেটা হচ্ছে যে আপনি মানুষকে আটকাতে পারবেন না। মানুষ এমনিও ভোট দিবে। এখানে যেটা একটা জিনিস দেখা যায়, আপনি শহর আর গ্রামে যদি যান, any politician, and your Imran Bhai, your brother-in-law, is like an elder brother to me. He's a politician of such deep experience and heading a very important ministry. When you go to the village, people want to get down and address their direct issues pertinent to them. রোডটা হয় নাই কেন, স্কুলটা দরকার, মাদ্রাসাটার জন্য একটু দেখেন, আমাদের চাকরির জন্য। All these national politics and the electoral niceties, which there should be, it becomes more than a major concern in the cities, in the cosmopolitan area. I'm not saying that this has to be abandoned. No, our quest should go on. But it is an evolutionary process. Politics does not happen overnight. Even countries in the West, what are they doing today? Only the other day,
they're in a big mess.
They're in a big mess. In London, they found nearly several hundred of the policemen who are under the scanner for corruption. Several times this has happened. What is the prerequisite of somebody running with? He must have big money.
Yeah, I know.
And we all know of that. We know what is happening in the states today.
There's all
I do not want to
hidden.
name the countries.
No, I know. But they're all hidden.
They're all hidden.
Huh? So we
So
think.
when they come and talk to us,
I
they
know.
should do some
I know.
soul searching themselves.
আচ্ছা যেমন আমি দেখলাম যে Erdogan of Turkey, he's very annoyed with Biden's, I would say Biden's America, it's not America, Biden's America, because he's going with the opposition to, because they want to trap Erdogan, because he's resisting as a NATO member, he's resisting the mainstream in the NATO. So I think they want him out, and then they can manipulate this Turkey, the way they want. Similarly, here also, I think if this government, leader, the Sheikh Hasina, if she would have agreed to the UN and the WHO and the IMF and the World Bank, they wouldn't be bothering her.
100% right. 100%. If Erdogan would have been one of their puppets, they would have looked the other way.
Exactly.
But then the Sheikh Hasina has the guts to tell President Clinton to his face that don't ask us to sell gas. You have kept a reserve for 70 years.
Right.
I'm only trying to keep a reserve for 50 years. It was the bilateral talk that the President of the United States of America, Bill Clinton, on his very first visit to Bangladesh, was denied by Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. So,
She has the guts.
characteristically she can stand up,
Yes.
and she has done it.
I think so. That is, I think, how she was trained and what kind of trauma she went through. She has become
That has steeled
a superwoman.
Yes, yes.
Another one I've seen in the আমাদের যে infamous Davos, আজকে যে আমাদের Charles Schwab and the World Economic Forum, she was talking in a panel with the Al Gore. I think he was a sitting vice president, or maybe not. And Al Gore is very much an environmentalist.
That's right.
Very
Climate change and all
climate
the
change
issues.
and all that. So he was against the coal power plants. And she was telling, Al Gore was telling Sheikh Hasina that তুমি এগুলি বন্ধ করে দাও. And she একদম attacked her. Why should we do it? We need energy. The same thing what and China is telling, that we're going to they make, I think 2 or 3 or maybe more coal plants every day. And this climate change is supposedly, we have the wrong science or whatnot. So at least she has the courage to defy and prioritize her needs, her country's needs first, which has happened with the World Bank Fund. She carried on with the Padda. She didn't go to the World Bank. No, please, what have I done? Come on, give me money. She went, even China, which India may be very upset. But it's a relationship. It's a commercial relationship. India's home market is filled with Chinese goods.
They're the largest trading partner.
Like today, we have replaced India as the largest trading partner. Also, is China. So what's the harm if I take some money? You can talk about a little bit of over-invoicing and all that. Well, those are governmental problems that reforms can settle.
Absolutely right. These structural reforms is an ongoing process.
And the head of the state are invoicing করে না, budget বানায় না, it's done at the bottom.
Yes.
So how they play this?
When you had a cultural of immunity under military governments, these bad ideas got stuck. This bad way of doing things, evil way of doing things. And you and I would like it done away with as quickly as possible. But this is wishful thinking to say that it can be done at a very great speed. First, your economic consolidation is required. Without that, at independence, we had a food deficit. And today we are a surplus nation.
Right.
The country in area has not become bigger, but we are producing more food than we are in a position to export that. Look at the trade situation. I mean, it's unbelievable. The RMG, we are the top in the world almost.
Yes.
Our people working abroad are working so diligently and sending these remittances.
Yeah.
So all in all, this economic situation, after all, the goal of politics is to give people a better life than they have.
Absolutely.
And this is and the urbanization that we see, the great agricultural revolution that we see in the villages. I mean, you and I recall that when we used to go to our villages in school breaks, people would come and clamor that take our child or take our children, even
Yes.
if you don't give him any money, just give them some place to stay and some food. And today you will not find anybody working for you. All these
They're not
fisheries are there, the agro plants are there, amazing development.
Kaisar, about the remittance, I think Bangladesh receives maybe 15 billion plus.
Yes.
And that has also been a point in the sudden boom of the money in people's hand, because they really spend money here.
Houses are coming up in villages.
And beautiful houses. আমাদের Gulshan Avenue I'm really so impressed with these আমাদের Bengali moneyed people. But taste আছে. The way kind of আমি কলকাতায়ও তো এইসব দেখি না, লন্ডনে তো নাই, একটা দুটো মেবি আছে of course.
গুলশান বনানী তো আছেই। আপনার গ্রামে যে কোনো গ্রামে যান, 3-4টা আপনার পাকা বাড়ি দেখতে পারবেন। এটা তো কয়েক বছর আগে দেখা যায়নি। People are building houses, people are doing fisheries.
Yes.
Tremendous development.
And ওই যে তুমি বললো যে রেমিটেন্সের ব্যাপারে 15 billion maybe plus, আমাকে একজন বললো না, Pakistan has 30 billion. So I checked up my thing. I said it's 6 billion.
Pakistan
It's plus 6 billion. I said 30 billion হলে তো IMF এর পিছে দৌড়াবে ওরা,
না হতে পারে না, because yes, IMF এর পিছনে, and they're still even now facing a crunch.
ওদের ফরেন রিজার্ভ আরো কম, 2-3 বিলিয়ন হবে, আমাদের তো অনেক বেশি, তাই না? But I'm very proud that our Netri, Sheikh Hasina, she really has the guts, the courage to withstand powerful people, not fall under the pressure.
Absolutely, because
She's defiant.
This is the legacy of Bangabandhu.
And that is one reason we need to support her, not only as a family member. I said, wow, you got the guts, you got it in you.
No, I think, you see, she has, as you say, this trauma has made her very strong. The whole family, herself, her sister, Sheikh Rehana, and all the others. This was an unprecedented barbarity.
It's a horrible scenario. I mean, it's a horrible scenario.
One of the worst killings in the history of mankind.
The more time goes, the more I think about it. How can it be like that? It's horrible. And people say, oh, he was a dictator, he did Bakshal. But would any dictator stay unarmed in the house? No guards virtually. It's ridiculous. And then you go and do this massacre.
What a massacre attempt.
And what did they gain? I mean, God has his way of, compensation. And what she has lost is not replaceable, but God has a way. I think he's like, today she's there. Well, you can say election ঠিক মতো হয় নাই, which কোন election ঠিক মতো হয়েছিল? I mean, I'm not going to go against Begum Zia, but you never did a proper democratic
even countries
system.
which boast of uninterrupted democracies, legislatures for hundreds of years. Even they are having flawed elections now.
You mean the US?
Even the US.
All the westernized countries.
All the westernized countries are having fraud.
আমাকে বলছে Macron জিতছে। I said Macron কি জিতছে? সব fraudulent election. Trudeau fraudulent, Jacinda fraudulent, Scott কি Australia fraudulent, Biden to election.
I'm saying that the people, nobody can restrain the people of Bangladesh. In history, you have never restrained Bengal.
Yes,
Bengal has never.
পাওয়ারে ছিল, তোমরা ডেমোক্রেটাইজ করনি কেন?
If people are happy, if people want continuity, and with continuity they get the sense that there will be economic peace and prosperity, to deny that is certainly not very virtuous. In fact, it is evil. Why should that be denied?
And what they did is taught us how to hate India, because that's what Pakistan taught us, to hate Hindus, hate India, and hate Awami League. And you'll stay in power by this narrative. So I think we are passing that stage.
I think we are passing that stage. I think it has now been very clear that very astutely the foreign affairs has been steered, where, of course, we have our historical ties with India. But having said that, there is tremendous expansion has taken place in commerce and trade and investment with China.
Absolutely, more than India.
More than India.
I mean, আগে বলতো 10 বছর আগে তো ইন্ডিয়ান বাংলাদেশ বানাইছে to make it the market. What ridiculous argument. And today, where is Indian trade? It's Chinese. Most of it is Chinese. Whatever, we hardly see Indian other than saris maybe.
And big investments in infrastructure.
Yeah.
It is very important
Absolutely.
that Bangladesh keeps very good ties with both these powers.
100%.
And we are doing that.
With humanity.
With
We all
humanity.
humans.
Because we do not want to get into the scramble for power politics or regional politics. Ours is the only motive, only driving force is development.
Absolutely.
And we don't deny history.
আমার তো from MOER তরফ থেকে মনে হয় we don't need these economic boundaries because let it be open like EU. It is possible.
It will come about. And I think when things steady itself,
Yeah.
it's not going to happen tomorrow because we know the friction, the relationship between India
No,
and Pakistan.
Step by
But
step,
it will,
Yeah.
at one point, I think SARC will also be rejuvenated.
And when people understand that, hey, we don't need this. For example, sorry to interrupt you. যে পাকিস্তানে যদি পাকিস্তানেরই একজন ভদ্রলোক he passed away a long time ago. He wrote a book, How to End Wars Forever. And he said, আমাদের যে problem with India and Pakistan, just open the borders for trade. There will be peace.
And people to people relationship.
For example, Germany and France, they've fought for thousands of years. One border open, now they're friends. They'll never fight another war.
Unless Japan and America.
Japan and China and America.
China and America.
So why can't we in India have, an open...
Plus the fact, BIMSTEC, of which India is a very important member, of which we are also one of the founding members.
I see. I think that was during your time.
Yes. In fact, I had gained the great honor on the instruction of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to go and sign the BIMSTEC founding agreement.
Yeah.
So we are one of the founders of BIMSTEC. Now, BIMSTEC has tremendous potential because it does not have any political agenda. It goes for tourism, for commercial. That's another organization which needs to be revamped. And now it is at the level of the Prime Minister. So it is getting more traction.
Wow.
So I'm very keen on
I think you used to, when you were in the party, I think in the opposition, I think your leader used to send you to the embassies here that Awami League is changing.
Yes.
It's no more a socialist party, it's changing, right? So ওই টেম্পোটা ধরে রাখা দরকার আছে. I think we need a political...
we told the Americans when we were in opposition, and this was after the killing of Bangabandhu, Awami League hadn't come to power even then. I'm talking about the early 90s. That how come when the left had categorized the Awami League to be friendly to the Americans, and today you are turning your face away from us? It seems so illogical. And do you know, as leader of the opposition, several years before forming the first government after the killing of Bangabandhu, it was the initiative of Sheikh Hasina which brought National Democratic Institute, NDI, to come and do seminars and meetings here. So we set up a rapport.
I know.
And then NRI also came, the National Republic Institute. And I think they're still based in Dhaka.
But that time, I remember, I mean, in every Awami League meetings, you had to abuse America. It was very left-dominated, And when Sheikh Hasina went to America, that was again a small mind change, a game changer.
And also her going to China as leader of the opposition.
Right.
And she was shown great honor. She was received by Hu Jintao.
I feel that, we should all, she doesn't have to place us in big positions or whatnot.
Precisely my thoughts.
I don't want to go to armed politics and do this, but your experienced politician.
In whatever capacity.
MP never interested me. Elected, it doesn't interest me. I'd rather be doing what I'm trying to do.
And she will know best that after all, is human. And
I'm sure.
If you're looking at someone, you have to look holistically. Did I know in 77 or 78 or 79, going forward in 1996, Awami League come to power? So there was passion and principle, and there is no slackening of that.
Right.
Situations and circumstances ensnared me away for reasons which I'm quite absolutely willing to explain to her myself. And I'm sure if she gives me a hearing, where is the opportunity? That is difficult. One doesn't walk in to the office of the Prime Minister.
Not especially after COVID time.
After COVID.
So anyway, I hope you do get to see her, and as a party member, as a former cabinet member. I'm sure you'll get an audience and you can talk.
That would be something I really keenly look forward to.
I hope so.
Very much so.
I hope so.
But thank you very much. Thank you very much for this very frank exchange.
You look happy now. Your face has changed.
What else? I've never done any other part.
Absolutely. But to PDP তে তোমাকে কে ঢুকাইছিল?
That was because, thank you for raising a very pertinent thing. একেবারে blunt and truth বলছি, because I am not a politician যে আমার এটা ওটা চিন্তা করে বলতে হবে. In 2001, when BNP came to power, তারা একটা মিথ্যা মিসলিডিং কেস, লবিস্ট কেস আনছিল এগেইনস্ট প্রাইম মিনিস্টার শেখ হাসিনা, এগেইনস্ট late Dr. Syed Abdul Samad and myself.
ডক্টর ওই যে বিওআই এর সামাদ
ভাই এখন he passed away. I was getting a good indication that ওই সময় they would compel me, force me to tell lies about Sheikh Hasina, lies about that lobby. So it was a matter, যে American একটা crude expression বলে, they stay inside the tent, peace out. Don't go outside the tent, peace in. So I just sat with them. But what did we do? We talked about Bangabandhu. We remembered him, said our prayers during his birthday, during the 15th August, the National Mourning Day. All of that was observed. There was nothing against. So yes, for that, in a way, I do not regret, because the other alternative was that I would have had to tell, I would have been able to live with that, lies about her in that lobbyist man.
No, you're not that type to lie. I don't believe
so
that.
It was a matter of expediency that I go and sit with them.
আরেকটা জিনিস, since we are talking a little bit of political chats, Bangabandhu time, 71 was a peak of socialism. Polarized left. So he had no option. He was never a socialist. He had no option but to go nationalization, this, that. And we had the best economists the world could have.
The finest. The finest in the world. আর ওই টাইমে উনি যেটা ন্যাশনালাইজ করেছেন, তারা তো the owners had fled. In most cases.
Right.
The owners had fled.
Yes.
So who else would take it? That expertise was not there.
Right.
আমাদের যে entrepreneurial class আজকে যেটা দেখি, and if somebody thinks that these people are waiting in the wings, they are living in a fool's paradise. বাঙালিরা তো একটা মিড লেভেলের উপর উঠতেই পারে না, তাদের সেই স্কিল, তাদের সেই নলেজ, এগুলো কিছুই ছিল না.
But like we had the economists from the Gang of Four, so-called Gang of Four from Oxford and Harvard and all the bright guys. Because Chaida Fashamayat, like Rahman Sobhani, he was, fantastic when he said the Pakistan has two economies.
Professor Rahman Sobhan's historic at the age of 27, I think, when he challenged Pakistan, and the two economies was propounded.
Yes.
And they were all close advisors of Bangabandhu.
Absolutely. But Amar Badachi, Bangabandhu was never on the left. He never, but circumstances. 71, the left, sort of Russia and India, they supported you as much as they could. And Amade economy, I think that was the point. The socialistic policies, they don't give you bring you anything good. China has learnt it after 40 years. Russia learnt it, but we did it because...
No, but it was also the American stupidity to try to dictate to us. উনি কোথায় জুট পাঠাবেন না,
to Cuba and all that.
This is no headache. Americans tried to do that. And you can't expect a leader like Bangabandhu to submit.
No.
But even then, he reached out to America in his own time. He reached out to China. He asked the great French philosopher André Malraux, when he visited Bangladesh, that through his personal contacts, he should try to reestablish, because Bangabandhu was a great fan of Mao Zedong. He mentions
went there in 62.
Yes. He mentions it in his David Frost interview.
Okay.
And André Malraux said, what we will do, whatever. So he had this vision of reaching out. He didn't want to keep Bangladesh confined to a certain regional parameter.
Right. And he said his policy, we are non-aligned and friendship to all, malice to none.
Malice to none.
So
that is the cornerstone of our foreign policy.
But America was doing it to please the Pakistanis, because then they were going hot with China, I think.
America was doing everything, bending over backwards to please the Pakistanis, force us. And today, look, they have dumped Pakistan in a way. In a way. So we have to maintain our relationship with America. We have
Absolutely.
our
And friendship to
RMG
all.
trade and friendship
to all. And even if they are doing something not right, maybe time will fix them up.
Our basic thing is that we have so many mouths to feed. The other thing that doesn't get sufficiently recognized is the absolute heroic gesture in a country which is the densest country in the world.
Yeah.
They say that even if you throw the entire North America, entire population of the world in North America, it would be still less densely populated than Bangladesh today.
Really?
She had no qualms because she remembered history. Sheikh Hasina allowed 1.5 million Rohingyas to come into Bangladesh when we were being persecuted.
That was a big thing.
This is the big thing, and the world applauded us.
Yeah.
But the world.
And they were all cursing her
Cursing.
before that.
Yes. So where is the world today?
And
Where
all
is their
kinds
promise of help?
All kinds of Photoshop pictures were on the social platforms that they have burned hundreds and thousands. It's all Photoshopped. But nobody's burning nobody now, isn't it? So she can withstand
So
pressure.
this thing also should get focused internationally. That when you talk of Bangladesh, when you talk about governance,
Yeah.
look at a country with this sort of influx of refugees. Every time you switch on the Western media and there is a discussion
Yeah.
on migration, justly, I do not deny, Angela Merkel is very much praised for allowing in Syrian refugees.
Yeah.
But how many times do we internationally get to hear the refugees who have been given a shelter in Bangladesh, who are being looked after? How many times? I mean, this was a great noble gesture, which I would say the forces in the West have yet to sort of fathom it in its correct state.
I sometimes feel, just came to my mind that people like you should be holding workshops and seminars. But I think this is much better.
This is much better. This gets to
much
a lot of people
Yeah.
who in the privacy or in the comfort of their
Yeah.
home can listen to this. Yeah.
Exactly.
But you have been very kind, very kind. Thank
My
you.
pleasure seeing you, Kaisar. And তোমার বাসায় আমি পার্টি করছিলাম। রিমেম্বার তোমার তো অনেক পার্টি দিয়ে, তখন কিন্তু ইউনিভার্সিটি 71-এ অনেক ইউনিভার্সিটি ছেলেপেলে পার্টি করতো, এই দুপুরবেলায় এখানে পার্টি।
Those were the afternoons.
So I went to
getting
your
together.
house in Bangla Motors. Your father was the president. So I said, cholo jai. So we had a good time there. So we'll see you again.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
তুমিও চিন্তা ভাবনা করো. Don't make it your first and last.
No. Whenever you called me the other day, I said, okay, I'll
Thank you very much. So you keep on your political aspirations on. I don't see any reason why it should be shut. You definitely open it up, and I'll get back to you again.
Very kind of you. Thank you very much.
More materials to talk.
Yes, we'll talk from time to time.
Yes, just exchange
Because
views.
if you keep it one-off, then you do not sort of catch the current. There is a drift, it changes from time to time.
So তোমাকে time দিলাম because you update and whatever you think এটা বলবো, and we get together again and you air it out.
Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Kaisar.
Okay.
তুমি কষ্ট করে
Very kind of you, and advanced Eid Mubarak to you.
Thank you, sir.
And
Thank you.
we'll meet under circumstances where we can have a cup of tea.
Sure, we will do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
you're
very much.
looking much more relaxed.
Thank you, Bhaiya.
and good
Thank
now.
you.
Okay.
Thank you. Lot of time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Take care. Thank you.
Making our economy right, or MOER, is all about a natural individual economic sovereignty, which we have surrendered to our governments. This has been a fact worldwide for decades together. MOER understands that a combination of individual freedom, monetary freedom, the free markets, and property rights can propel economic prosperity in every household in all nations. But how do we bring these to reality or correct the condition that we are in? I think it is by discussing on various platforms with the people that we become aware of the economic truths in knowing what serves us best. Is it the government or us, the people? We want you, not some ivory tower bureaucrat or a Nobel laureate to fix your economy by proclaiming your naturally endowed economic rights. Thank you. And MOER will continue to talk with people as we do now. Thank you.